This video is for awareness and educational purposes.
All hereby copyrighted content is for fair use and under the Fair Use Law of Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976.
This is a SONOFMAN presentation. As y'all all know, Frequencies of Thought, this is where we literally open up our celestial ears and we literally interpret and understand the world and all the things within the world with our consciousness, which envelopes the universe. For your mind is a replica of how space is ever expanding. Peace and blessings, everyone. This is Frequencies of Thought.
You were told, weren't you? Everyone was told. What happens in the cloud is that the cloud becomes a sounding board for the universe, for your planet Earth. It becomes literally the sounding board, meaning the things will be stayed here, and then the rest of the world will basically repackage it and distribute it. This is done by your icons, role models, superstars, all forms of what you would consider to be people of authority, people who have a following, people that have a vast majority of celebrity power, people who have all these different types of subscribers. They would all begin to repackage what is being stated here. You've all been witness to what I'm saying right now, where everyone on the earth begins to repeat what has already been said by the Son of Man. This is what you call dominion. This is what you call him beginning to put all things beneath his foot, including death. Because there will come a time, like I've done in the past, where I will break down death and how death is beneath my feet. When that bill comes out, or for those of you who already know the bill, which was on another channel, it's no longer on this channel, but I will make another one for this channel. And it will be better than the last. It will be more understandable, so that you can basically understand how you are the Son of God, and how the world and all of its faculties are literally laid out to keep you from realizing who you truly are. You have multiple speakers, some on the positive side, on a conscious level, and you have this in different genres of people who have what you consider niches of pockets of classes of people, where you have Japanese, Chinese, African American, Latino American, Central American, American in general, of conscious movements. And every single one of these pockets will begin to pretty much repeat, rinse, and remix what has already been stated upon the clouds. This is a given, because this is how the Son of Man runs and rules the world. This is how he shapes and molds the entire atmospheric energy within the field of what we call the earth and all of its matter in general. So we cannot allow these particular parasitic entities that are living within all of these different types and forms and fashions of people all across the earth to supersede your intelligence by using fear to literally put you in your lowest state of consciousness. We're talking about family, friends, regular channels, TV his son and basically gives the world his son. But only a few people would be able to recognize the true teachings of God within the son. And he is made known only unto them. While the rest of the world, as we've read in many books, in all different languages, all across the expanse of time, we always read about how the messenger comes and he is among the people. And only a certain selected group of people believe in him. And lo and behold, when the time comes, they are not let down. They put their trust and their faith in him, and they are not let down in any sense of the fashion. He lives up to his word, and everything he says is fulfilled. That is basically what I'm trying to show you and bring out to people. That the world in general is trying to keep you at your lowest point, and the repackaging of the true message of God has been sent down to the earth unto you so that you can pick it up and begin to see how the rest of the world will begin to repeat exactly what he's saying. Only they will try to mix it, match it, remix it in all these different forms just to literally keep the masses at their lowest state of mind. But of course, Satan doesn't win this battle. This battle is won. You win this battle. So what you're going to witness is how, no matter how low they try to basically take the things that they are now repeating, regurgitating, you'll be able to basically see, and so will other people, some consciously, some subconsciously, and they will literally be elevated off of the fact that this particular news channel is trying to remix this information, and people will be able to wake up to that and realize, oh, they're lying again. And this is already happening on multiple different levels all across the earth, as it's always done and as it's always been for this particular time and season. So I just wanted to put that out there, get you guys to understand that. And now we're going to go back into the Mithra build, finish that off, top it off, so that you guys can have its clear understanding. And then we're going to move on to different things. We're going to look at some of the messengers of God for this particular time and order of time, which is Isaiah, Elijah, Daniel, Lot. We need to understand who and what and for what these names, these particular words are for. What are they? If you're saying that these words are not people, but it's clearly defining characteristics that you would find in a person, then tell me, thot, what is this? What is this really talking about? And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to break this down for you, the people, you, the brothers and sisters out there who are in thought, who are literally on the frequencies of thought, because the whole world will know frequencies of thought. Repeat this in your mind so that you can always stay ahead. The whole world will know frequencies of thought, and they will literally all know thought at the end of the day. No questions, no, if a person is not on thought, you'll be shortly hearing of their demise. Because anyone on the earth that does not think will die. Frequencies of thought literally means the ability to think, the ability to master, self-master what you are thinking. And just the same way that I break all of those things down on a metaphysical level, we're also going to, of course, go through the biological aspect of it, because what's bound in heaven is bound on earth. You already know that Joseph literally stops the earth for 3 days or 3 hours, because a day in heaven is 1,000 years on earth. And we're going to look at what that actually means, and we're going to look at many other different things. So stay tuned, stay ready, and get on this frequency. Thought, Sela, frequencies.
Over here, up there, I saw a UFO, and it went down the river, turn right at the United Nations, turn left, and then down the river. It wasn't a helicopter, it wasn't a balloon, and it was so near.
And it looked what, sort of round, white, luminescent, and silent?
Silent, and it looked dark, like black or grey in the middle, and had white lights, just looked like light bulbs, you know? Just going off, on, blink, 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 round the bottom, and on top was a red light.
If you see a little note on walls and bridges, it says, I saw a UFO. And I was just finished doing walls and bridges. I'd mastered it or done the last tape of it. And I was really just relaxed and feeling good. And it was summer in New York, and I had the window open. And lo and behold, there was this thing just hovering sort of 100 yards away. But I saw it so close, it wasn't in the sky or nothing, you know? And it was like I could have hit it with a brick if I'd thrown a stone at it. I couldn't see the colours because it was dusk. It was a good, clear summer night. You know, the sky was very clear. And round the bottom of it were just ordinary-looking electric light bulbs, blinking off and on alternatively, like on a billboard or something. And on the top of it was a red light. And the thing I noticed was that there was no noise, and I could hear that freeway down below, all the cars going. So I realized, oh, it's not a helicopter, then it must be a balloon. But it was so close to the rooftop that it couldn't be a balloon. So all the rational things I went through, not a helicopter, balloon. Not a balloon, it's too close to the roof, and it's maneuvering too well to be a balloon. So I just watched it, and it was there for about 5 or 10 minutes. It went off down the East River, and there it was, and that's all I've got to say about it.
What you're hearing is an actual radio broadcast. It is the only recording of the event.
Roadblocks preventing people from leaving and entering the area.
Everybody is under quarantine.
All praises due to the Most High God, creator of the heavens and the earth. We're talking about the cream of the crop, the one which rises to the top, the father of civilization and God of the universe. Peace to all the sons and daughters of the Most High. Selah, frequency. Welcome to the build.
To this day, you go look at Baha'i, it's still the same religion. There's nothing different, except that they got a few more details filled in, like him being imprisoned and being the king's prisoner for a while, and that's basically what you get out of your Daniel story or your Joseph story. And Joseph is who again? Jesus' father. It's not two different Josephs in the Bible. It's all the same person. Every person, every character in the Bible that is under the title Son of Man, I can prove to you through numbers, and I can prove to you through the word that it's all the same people. It's all the same person every single time. It's not multiple people, it's not group of people, it's the same person all the freaking time. So Baha'i, we already know we're gonna go to war with Iran. I'm pretty sure you guys are well aware that for some reason we threatened Iran, but the US has never actually went up in Iran. This is because Iran is literally every civilization's champion. That is like your Goliath right there. It might seem like we're Goliath. We're not Goliath. Some people over there, I've told y'all, they have a science that deals with quantum energy. We don't know quantum energy. America does not know quantum energy. We know quantum counting and quantum parallel stuff, and we're learning that now. But because they were placed under sanctions and under embargoes, they were not allowed to deal with nuclear energy, which basically is chemicals. So because they couldn't mess with chemicals, they found other ways. They found ways with magnets. They found ways with diamonds. They found ways with carbon. They found ways with lenses and stones and crystals. And this is the weapon that they use, which is also very much like what you would call a laser weapon. And we kind of have lasers now too, but their laser is not our laser. Our laser is made out of like rays of light. Theirs is coming from quantum energy, where it takes the energy from nothing. It just creates it. That's the manipulation of the elements in the atmosphere that you are also capable of doing at will, but you just don't know how yet. But you will learn how to do that eventually. But they have a machine that does it. And that machine is,
So we won't stick with this too much longer because in the background, as you can see, somebody's like stocking pots and pans. But I want you to be a witness to the fact that the brothers and sisters in the cloud are very similar and very much like you yourself. You know, they're literally brothers and sisters that are at work, that are taking care of their children, that are walking to school, that are, you know, in school, driving their cars, hustling, on the streets, undomiciled, which means homeless, family men, you know, what you would call successful individuals in life. It's every walk of life that is in Frequencies of Thought, and everyone is welcome to come to the cloud. Right now we're speaking on Iran and you know the indulgences that we will have with Iran, but I don't want you to dwell on Iran, Media, Persia too much, because I need you to understand that Iran is not hell. Iran is the core. Iran is the median. So everything is like body parts. You have level parts in your body. What the Bible likes to call members of the body. And one of those members is at the highest point. It's to the north. This is the part that the Bible speaks of, you know, on that day, the day of the Lord, you know, the enemy comes, or the wrath of God comes from the north. To the north, on the eastern hemisphere, is what we would call North Korea. Now, North Korea, you have to understand that what's bound in heaven is bound on earth. And this is, you know, what the Christ is supposed to bring you. What the Son of Man is supposed to teach you is how you are members of God, the Almighty Father, creators of the heavens and the earth. And you have to also be able to understand that, or understand, so that you can overstand that He's going to tell you how to judge things before they come. Meaning, He's going to tell you the future. And He's not going to just tell you the future, you know, for your sake. He's going to tell you the future for everyone's sake, so that you can be able to foretell every single aspect of every single thing that is to occur upon this earth. The Bible calls it when He comes up into His own. And then there's another part in Scripture where it says, when He comes into His own temple. So He will come into His own temple suddenly. This is where it just clicks. Everything links up for Him. And this is all dealing with the Abrahamic Accord. on a mathematical level, not on a worldly level, because if you look at it on a worldly level, you will never understand anything that I'm saying. The Bible is completely spiritual. So in North Korea, you have a place called Seoul, and Seoul is the capital. It's the main aspect of North Korea. Well, Seoul is also the word of the deepest and lowest realms of the earth. It's what you would call hell. Seoul is basically the depiction of all of these alternative media channels on YouTube and many other places that talk about things like, mass surveillance and, nothing that you say is secret because, all of your appliances are hooked up and, coordinated and integrated with one another. And then everything is getting dissected and reviewed by a central data analyst, in the country's military somewhere. And they'll have multiple people doing that. Well, you already see America's leading towards that way. And this is because that's how North Korea has been for many years. North Korea is not a broke state. North Korea, is like any other country or any other piece of land. It grows its food, its crops, it has its minerals, and it's also able to mine uranium in their own land. So unlike Iran, these individuals have the ability, despite what many think, to import and export with their neighboring countries, such as China, Japan, and even Russia. There's talk that that Iran has an underground tunnel. Not Iran, but North Korea has an underground tunnel that goes into China, and that these two particular parties literally trade and give each other information as well as weaponry. And if that's so, then that's a problem, because here it is, two superpowers that are very, how could I say, into world domination or people domination, and they're working together. And this is where you got the predictive programming that is being introduced to the world through the Bible, better known as Yahweh. Yahweh, I've made past lectures on Yahweh, and I've shown and proved how Yahweh is predictive programming found in scripture for the beast known as Huawei. And this is an integration of all technological devices that you have as household items, as well as wearables on your person. And these are all integrated, literally tracking your metrics in forms of data, input, information, all being sent to these people's central banks. And you are being tagged on it. Everyone is being tagged on it. Remember, China has a social credit score. You have a social security number and a card, and that's easily transferable into these people's data banks, because it's all predictive programming to match up at a later time. Remember, everything that's happening now has happened before. So I'm just simply telling you what it really is. You just don't know it yet. Now, all you definitely need to listen, because I'm telling you what is to come. I'm telling you what already is. See, all of you are stuck in this timeline. You're stuck in this reality. And your governments, your Trumps, your Bidens, your Republicans, your Democrats, your Qs, your YouTubers, which are literally enchanters. Think of wizards in boxes. And you can go to any box and get enchanted by the verbiage, the eloquency of the words that are being used by all of these particular channels. You look at their names, tell you everything. Jacob Israel, Jacob Israel. And Of course, he's not telling you what's real. He's literally confusing you. The same thing with any other channel, TD Jakes. Literally, that's what he's doing. He's literally jacking your cob, which is your pineal gland. Same thing with Jacob, Jack Cobb. They're jacking your pineal gland, your mentality. Listen to me. Or don't. Because these are the things that are reality.
Isaiah 10:26. And the Lord of hosts shall stir up a scourge for him according to the slaughter of Midian at the rock of Oreb, and as his rod was upon the sea, so shall he lift it up after the manner of Egypt. And it shall come to pass in thot day that his burden shall be taken away from off your shoulder, and his yoke from off your neck, and the yoke shall be destroyed because of the anointing. He is come to Aiath. He is passed to Migron at Michmash. He has laid up his carriages, So if we read it from colon to colon, and the Lord of hosts at 10:26 Isaiah, the Lord of hosts shall stir up a scourge for him according to the slaughter of Midian at the rock of Oreb. They are gone up. They are gone over the passage. Cause it to be heard unto Laish, O poor Anathoth. Madmenna is removed. The inhabitants of Gebim gather themselves to flee. And yet shall he remain at the Nab that day, or thot day. And the high ones of stature shall be hewn down, and the haughty shall be humbled. And he shall cut down the thickets of the forest with iron, and Lebanon shall fall by a mighty one. So as you could imagine, that's in reference to when this parasitic entity is actually removed. So when we go back to, and that right there was just the colons from 26 down. 26 up. And we totally just got a whole nother view of situations and occurrences. So we got more detail. It was fine-tuned detail. So Isaiah 10:26 said, and the Lord of hosts shall stir up a scourge for him according to the slaughter of Midian. And Midian is basically modern day Iran or Persia. But you have to also look at Median your way, which is pretty much like your core. So your core has gotten taken over. That's how this whole thing started. This is why we're in the position we're in now. It's because something came into the land, into the vessel, and it pretty much corrupted everything over time. We're talking about genealogies. Literally, the ancient ones in your blood. That's when it began with them, all the way to now. So it has been a progression of evolution over time, every time. And each time, obviously, you as a person become greater to where you escape and get out of the situation that we find ourselves in, finally. So that's what Median is, and So you could connect it to your core. You could even say it's your meridians, which would be considered to be like a port, where you could expel energy and receive energy. So your palms, your soles of your foot, your mind, your heart, your eyes, your ears, all of the things you use to sense could also be used to receive. So we look at that way. At the rock of Oreb, and we're gonna look at Oreb, but already we should kind of know that Oreb is gonna mean something of importance that we must look into. Oreb, the name of a Midianite and of the cliff near the Jordan. Oreb equal raven, so it means raven. One of the chieftains of the Midianite army defeated by Gideon a rock east of the Jordan, where Oreb and part of his army fell to the Ephraimites. Yeah, so going into this now. And as his rod was upon the sea, that means as his knowledge was in the people, or on the TV, or on the radio, or anywhere. The sea is compiled of what you would consider the most popular channels on regular TV and on alternative TV, where people are going there all day long, every day, to see, and they're going with it. That's the other thing, that they believe what these channels are saying. And as his rod was upon the sea, so shall he lift it up after the manner of Egypt. So, and as his rod was upon the sea, so basically, while the person's vessel, once the person's law, once the person's very being is upon the sea, and this is what brings about the new person. So shall he lift it up after the manner of Egypt. So basically, the person comes, looks around, realizes, oh shit, we're all going with the flow, we're in the end times, oh no, what are we gonna do? Stuff like that. The person then begins to say what he is seeing. So he basically begins to teach, or basically show others, which is what teaching is, what it is that he sees. After the manner of Egypt, meaning in the way that was done in the times of Egypt. And it shall come to pass in thought day, thought, his burden shall be taken away from off your shoulder. Off your shoulder, meaning that burden where you could only go with the flow. This person and his information causes you, once you hear it, you break out of the mental enchantment that they locked you in, that causes a person to now have to meet thought, or go to thought's channel and literally be forced to watch it in order to wake up. So that's what I believe that means. That's what makes sense to me. And then it says, now that same thing that affected that person that became the teacher, that began to teach it to everybody else, that same effect that he felt, that he looked around and was like, yo, I'm going with the flow, or what the heck is going, everybody's just following one particular mind state. What's going on? This is weird as heck. Once I seen that, and I began to put it out there, others began to see what I was saying. And this is what breaks those bonds. It's literally a mental enchantment. You have to understand that all of those things are real. They're just scientific. But they told you to look at them, mythologically or mystically. But you need to look at it energetic-wise, because that's how you get to interpret it in this realm. In this realm, the closest thing you got to these words that this Bible keeps speaking about and saying is literally the aspect of the chemical compounds that literally make up everything. Its origin, its essence. So that causes the people to wake up, and the yoke shall be destroyed because of the anointing, meaning because the person begins to teach you thought, it takes away the mental enchantment, the shield, the fog that you had over your eyes that you could not see. That's what his teachings will basically do to you. And when they do that, they empower you. They give you, the real you person, the power. Not your husband, not your brother, not your kids, not your sister, not your mom, but you. You have the ability now to go with the flow and halfway through it, step out of it. You have that ability now. You have the ability to say, nah, I don't want to partake in none of this, but I do want to see it. And you won't partake of it, but you will witness it. And I'm just using those things as small elevational concepts that you could literally bridge by 120 on each. So let me just finish this. I wanna go into something real quick. Alright, so it said because of the anointing. So it says he is eighth. Oh, I guess that's the way you say the word eighth, which is A-Y. Heap of ruins. Heap of ruins. He has come to eighth. Heap of ruin. He is passed to Migron. And I'm pretty sure Migron must be something else that's messed up, right? Well, either way, I think that's good enough right there. And y'all got the point that I was trying to make. Looking at everything that I'm telling you about compounds and elements, you have to look at everything I spoke about tonight about World War II and how World War II, and I think I'm going to have to do this after every build, just do a quick recap of everything so that you guys can check mark it to yourselves, or if y'all able to do it yourselves, that'll be even better. And what you're doing here is you're building that catalog self-awareness within you, where you're now putting things into perspective. And the next time I come and talk about it, your mind already put it somewhere. So it'll go right there and get it right where it's when it needs to. So it'll be handy. So looking at the virus and everything that's been going on, And I guess I probably should have had this did this build a while ago. And I did already, but I'm going to just reiterate some of the things I've said in the past together here now for other people. So basically, the virus, the way you're seeing it now, is at a point where in the vessel of the actual person, there is absolutely no true way that they are able to measure the amount of differences, for lack of better term, of differences that the vessel is undergoing based upon the amount of virus that a person has been exposed to, if they've been exposed to it more than once by an individual, by different individuals. So that's important to know, because it means, and let's just say that we all believe it's real here. That means that if it's real, all the people that treated it like it wasn't and were not careful, they're gonna be in deep trouble. There's a strong possibility they could be in deep trouble. So this energy, I've told you all a long time ago, told you that the earth begins to send messages up out of itself to the cosmos, to the sun, the moon, the stars, you. And it basically tells everyone and everything, get yourself in order, I'm about to clean up. Or we have to clean up. And it's releasing these pathogens, maybe, into the atmosphere or whatever, and these things are getting on people, and there's no telling what is actually happening in the body at the moment. Any true studies on it that they have is locked in someplace, somewhere. We'll probably never get to find out, what's the range on this, what's really going on with the virus in the body, and what is it really doing. If it's not, people are not dying, then what? Because its effect was death, and now its effect is not death. So if the effect was death and now it's not death, then what type of recombinant strain would that be? What did you play with to cause something that was killing into not killing no more? That means you know the body real good. You know what affects the body. So that's what's going on anyway, which means that it ain't safe yet. That's what that means. It ain't safe yet. It ain't safe out there yet for people to just act like there's no virus. They can't do that right now because there's no way of telling what transitions are occurring in the human body. 9 months later, they're just learning this right now. And if they do have tests from prior subjects in the past, then that means, okay, so where's that information at? We will never get that. I don't even think I want to know if they have that, which of course they probably do. But it's causing effects. It really is. They've measured out a few things here and there, like the memory loss, the brain fog, the loss of and sense of smell and taste. There could be a lot more that could basically evolve and go sour and trigger a neuron or something, a nerve. And at the end of the day, remember that that's what the enemy is trying to do. He's basically trying to take the power that you have over your neurons, over your nerves, over your entire body, over the very thing that triggers what you would consider to be an idea, an act, an action, a word, a thought. This is why the scriptures in every book, in every language, in every tablet is basically trying to tell you that this is a spiritual war. And when it's speaking about spiritual war, it's basically telling you that the enemy is trying to take your mind. The enemy is literally trying to take the medium in which God communicates with you and in which you communicate with him. So, I hope you all were able to enjoy and elevate with the knowledge, wisdom, and the understanding that you were just given based on Isaiah and on the few other things which I spoke of, and to all the sons and daughters of God, Selah and frequencies unto you. Walk in your righteousness. I give you nothing but credence and praises all day, all night long. Before that's said and done, this is Frequencies of Thought, and I'm out. Selah. Frequencies. We winning.
You were told. Everyone was told. What happens in the cloud is that the cloud